Thank you for inviting me to speak today. 3 years after the Civil War ended on May 5th, 1868, the head of an organization of Union veterans, the Grand Army of the Republic, called for the establishment of Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. Major General John A. Logan declared that Decoration Day should be observed on May 30th. It is believed that date was chosen because flowers would be in bloom all over the country. Today, Americans across this nation and citizens located around the world will pause throughout the day to observe Memorial Day. Since the first Decoration Day, it has been a day of remembrance for those who sacrificed and died in our nation's service. And while it was originally dedicated to honor Civil War soldiers, we know it today as a celebration in memory of all who have fought for and defended our right to freedom. In 1968, the observation of this day was established to be the last Monday in May. Today it remains a time of observation to honor and to respect those who fought to protect the liberties that our founding fathers proclaimed with certainty in the Declaration of Independence, and that were thoughtfully and carefully framed in the Constitution of the United States. In his proclamation to set aside this day in 1868, General Logan instructed there to be thoughts to cherish tenderly the memories of our heroic dead who made their breast a barricade between our country and its foes. The lives of the men and women who fought in America's battles and who served their country in support of the military made significant sacrifice in fighting for the freedom and liberty that we enjoy today. Too often we fail to remember those who gave their lives, or those whose lives today bear the scars as a lasting memory of that sacrifice and commitment. But there are many who remember vividly as the lives affected were parents, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends, and co-workers, and neighbors, and that their unselfish sacrifice was made with the assurance that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness required the ultimate service to their nation. In November of 1863, President Abraham Lincoln came to a small town in Pennsylvania after being invited by David Wills of the Committee for the November 19th consecration of the National Cemetery at Gettysburg. It is the desire that after the oration, you, as chief executive of the nation, formally set apart these grounds to their sacred use by a few appropriate remarks. Lincoln's address followed the speech made by Edward Everett, a famous orator of the time, which lasted over 2 hours. Lincoln's remarks lasted just a minute and a half. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. To those who died securing peace and freedom, to those who served in conflict to protect our land and sacrificed their dreams of the day to preserve the hope of our nation, keeping America the land of the free for over 2 centuries, we owe our thanks and honor. It is important to not only recognize their service, but to respect their devotion to duty and to ensure that the purpose for which they fought will never be forgotten. From the soldiers who fought bravely during the American Revolution to the men and women of today's armed forces, America's fighting forces have responded bravely to this nation's call to duty, both on the battlefield and in their assurance of readiness. Members of the nation's military remain bound to their duty. For more than 200 years, America's armed forces have been the surest guarantee that freedom will continue to ring across this land, from sea to shining sea. God bless you all, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.